I'm gonna have you choose between two ASMR triggers, and depending on which one you choose, I'm going to make an assumption about you. So let's do trigger number one is this fan. And your option number two is this flower. Do you have your choice? All right. If you chose the fan, you're the kind of person who says that they don't really like attention, but truthfully, underneath it all, you love attention. If you chose the flower, you are a perfectionist. All right. Next triggers. Actually, let me put this flower back because it's making the worst sounds. Okay, girl. Okay, all right. Option one. And option two. Option number one, you love a rainy day to snuggle up and read a book, except you never actually read a book. You end up scrolling on your phone. And if you picked option two, you love to binge watch TV shows, but it's so difficult for you to start a new show. All right, next is, you choose, where's the other one? Okay. You choose between these two lip glosses. So we've got lip gloss number one. It's like a shimmery orange shade. And option number two is like a darker sort of brown shade. All right, do you have which one you choose? All right. If you chose the orange shade, you, in theory, like to go to parties, but you end up getting very overstimulated when you're actually there. And if you chose the darker shade, you actually really care about what you look like in public, but you won't admit that. All right, next. We're gonna have good old Kirby. All right, here is option number one. And here is option number two. Wow. Okay. If you chose option number one, you're the kind of person who is super stubborn when it comes to being prepared for something, as in you're not prepared. So like if it might rain, you don't bother taking an umbrella. If it might be really, really sunny out, you don't bother actually putting on sunscreen. And if you chose option number two, you secretly have a lot of anger. You're like a sweetheart, but underneath everything, you're so fucking mad. All right, next one. Let's put this guy back. What a cutie. Okay. Next, we have this little guy. So we've got the shakies. And we've got the little bubbly sound. All right. If you chose the shakies, you would identify as somebody who is kind of anxious. Like if you had to pick between anxiety and depression, you would be anxiety. Actually, I take it back. This is depression. And the bubbly one, the bubbles, is anxiety. So if you chose the bubbles, you're more anxious. If you chose the shakies, you're more depressed. Okay. Now, the mic cover. All right. So, we've got the mic cover with this. Or tappies on the globe. if you chose the might cover it with this, you're the kind of person who really loves a color or an animal or something like that. Whatever it is that you really love like that, you need to have like everything in that color or in that animal or whatever it is. You need to have everything in that color. And then if you chose the tappies, you like to pretend that you like a nice cozy night in, but really you would love to be hanging out with people, and unfortunately you are not. Okay, now the controller. So we've got this trigger, or this trigger. If you chose this trigger, you love physical media. And if you chose this trigger, you love sitting in unconventional seats, whether that's like a hammock or the floor or a rock. Okay, let me put a couple of these things back over here. Okay, now this book. Here is your first option. And here is your second option. How do I make that sound? Hold on. Why can't I make this sound? Wait, hold on a second. Here is option number 2. There we go. So option number 1, option number 2. If you chose option number 1, you're the type of person who like truly believes that they were born in the wrong decade. And if you chose option number 2, you really, really either love tech or are very good with tech. Okay. Next, let's have our buddy Usagi here. All right, here's trigger number 1. And trigger number 2. Okay, if you chose trigger number 1, you are an anxious driver. And if you chose trigger number 2, you actually like the toilet paper rolling under instead of over. Okay. Ooh, you know what? Let's make that one of the triggers. Okay, so trigger number 1. And trigger number 2. If you chose trigger number 1, you actually like mouth sound ASMR videos. And if you chose trigger number 2, you are constantly worrying about the future, no matter what, even if things are going good. Maybe especially if things are going good. All right, next, trigger number 1. And trigger number 2. If you chose trigger number 1, you would rather do an activity with your hands than do something that's more mental, like puzzles or something like that. Like hands would be like knitting or weightlifting, and then puzzles would be like crossword puzzles and shit like that, or like a riddle. you would prefer doing something with your hands. And if you chose trigger number 2, your favorite season is winter. Okay, next. Here's number 1. And here's number 2. That sounds too similar. Hold up. Let's do trigger number 1 and trigger number 2. If you chose trigger number 1, you enjoy refinement, or like getting dressed in like a very particular specific way for the event, or making sure something is perfectly detailed, refined. You prefer things that are refined, and it's important to you. If you chose trigger number 2, you are chaos. It's hot as fuck in this room, bro. Oh my god. All right. Let's see what we have. Okay. Trigger number 1. And trigger number 2. If you chose trigger number 1, you love a slushie way more than you would love an ice cream. And if you chose trigger number 2, people say sometimes that you are an old soul, but really you're just quiet and observant. Next, let's do this Cheetah Girls karaoke CD. Here is trigger number 1. And here is trigger number 2. If you chose trigger number 1, you almost don't hate going grocery shopping. Almost. And if you chose trigger number 2, if you weren't doing the current job that you are doing, you would be a DJ. Those back, and let's do these 2. Okay, here is number 1. Oh, that's good. And here is number 2. If you chose trigger number 1, you really love decorating for a party. And if you chose trigger number 2, you would much rather only go to the party. You don't want to have to do the decorating and the prepping or any of that. Okay. Next, let's do the keyboard. Ooh. Let's do the keyboard if I could get the rest of it out. All right, here is number 1. And trigger number 2. If you chose trigger number 1, you prefer the type of showers that are like with the glass doors instead of the curtains or instead of a bath. And if you chose trigger number 2, you really, really, really love games that have a lot of customization, or maybe not even just games, just things that allow you to really go in and customize them and make them your own. Okay, next is the wire to the keyboard. So here's trigger number 1. And here's number 2. Oh, no, it's not. No, it's not. That's bad. That was a bad sound. That was a bad sound. Here's number 2. That's still bad. That's still bad. We're not doing that. Okay, instead, here's number 1. And here's number 2. That's too similar to the last thing. Why is this giving me so many problems? Okay, and here's number 2. So here's number 1. And here's number 2. Okay. If you prefer trigger number 1, you love when people play with your hair. You're not going to ask people to do it, but you love it. And if you chose trigger number 2, you are kind of sort of new to ASMR. Like you started watching it within the last 5 years. Okay. Okay, here is the next one. Trigger number 1. Versus trigger number 2. Okay, if you chose trigger number 1, you prefer salty over sweet. And if you chose trigger number 2, you prefer sweet over salty. Let's see. Ooh. This is from a thumbnail I was taking, excuse me. Okay, trigger number 1. And trigger number 2. If you prefer trigger number 1, you kind of like school. And then if you chose trigger number 2, you are an aggressive driver. Maybe take some breaths. Okay. Next, trigger number 1. And trigger number 2. And trigger number 3. So 1, 2, or 3. Okay. If you chose 1, You can't resist a trinket or a souvenir. If you chose 2, your favorite writing utensil is a pencil, like a nice, freshly sharpened pencil. And if you chose 3, you listen to music in your headphones a little too loud. Okay. Next, let's see what I have. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's been a while since we used this one. I'm gonna break something. Excuse me for all of that. Thank you for your patience while I grabbed this guy. All right. Here's trigger number 1. Here's trigger number 2. 3. And 4. All right, if you chose trigger number 1, you learn best by doing the thing. If you chose trigger number 2, ideally you would like a nap, but it never really works out. Like, napping only sounds good, only is good in theory, but it hardly ever works out. You just wake up disoriented. And trigger number 3, you love when you've freshly organized whatever it is, like your supplies or the stuff in your backpack or things like that. You love it and you swear you're gonna keep it that way, but it gets chaotic way faster than you think it's gonna. And then if you chose 4, your favorite part of the museum is the gift shop. All right, here's 1. And 2. All right. If you chose 1, oh, I had something and I lost it. All right, let me get it and let me catch its vibe again. All right. If you chose 1, you prefer to bake. And if you chose 2, I lied. It's the other way around. If you chose 1, you prefer to cook. And if you chose 2, you prefer to bake. Okay. Here is trigger number 1. And trigger number 2. If you chose trigger number 1, you are more of a dinosaur person. And if you chose trigger number 2, you are more of a train person. I'm tempted to switch those, but I won't. I'm gonna stick with it. Okay. And this has to be our last one. No. Let's see. Let's use this guy. Here is trigger number 1. And here is trigger number 2. Okay. If you chose trigger number 1, if you had to choose, ultimately, you would choose more slower paced, crisp ASMR. Like with like a high gain mic, slower pace, very clear sounds. And if you chose trigger number 2, if you had to choose, you would choose more of a fast-paced, lo-fi ASMR. All right, that is everything. I want to know how accurate I was with my assumptions about you. And now me and the beginning bear are gonna bid you farewell, give you some good night sprinkles to fall asleep. Wow, look at our rainbow. Wow. And the beginning bear has something to say to you.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to... Sorry, hold on my tongue. Be sure to check out Luna's other channel that is not ASMR if you want to wake back up, I guess. And also check out memberships because Luna posts even more content on there. Alright, I'm gonna post a similar video over here and whatever the fuck else over here. Okay, love you. Good night.